What if I told you the right pair of shoes is going to either help you or hinder you in your running goals? I want to step through that and share something today. I want to go through a 700 and what seems to be now 20 Ks review of the Nike Run Invincible 3. So here they are. I haven't actually done an official review on these, so I'm kind of going to take a little bit of a back step in time to explain my first impressions of these. Coming into these shoes, I was running with the Nike Invincible Run 2s. They were super squishy, super bouncy, really nice. And then I kind of transitioned to these. The foam in these, while was the same, it was a bit firmer and it kind of didn't feel as cloud-like. So part of me was not liking it. And there's another component of this shoe, the lacing system. For whatever reason, it just didn't seem to lock my foot down. I was slipping and I was kind of starting to get a bit annoyed. And I think a lot of people have said it's like how the heel's designed here. Like it's not really keeping it enclosed. So I'm not alone in this thought. But then after kind of about maybe 50 to 100 Ks and me figuring out actually how to lace these shoes properly, they actually started to work. And they were kind of at a key point in my running journey. I was kind of just starting to get into long runs and I wanted something that could protect my legs as my Invincible Run 2s were kind of getting towards the end of their life. And that's the thing. You need to kind of be able to leverage your shoes as much as possible, but also be smart, strategic about when you use your next pair of shoes to start your next set of running goals. Now, it's kind of cool to look back on these and see everything I'm achieved in them. And I guess, like, to talk about that, I was able to, once I got really comfortable with these and began to increase my long runs to 16, 17, 18 Ks, it kind of got to a point where I had enough confidence in these shoes and confidence in myself to run my first half marathon on Good Friday just because I wanted to and I had the day off. Pretty crazy, but it's kind of the ability to set a goal like that, but also know what you're using will really safeguard and help you towards that goal. And these shoes felt fantastic. I ran it at a pretty great pace for my first half marathon. My legs felt fantastic. They felt protected, which is important. They had the stability, the traction, all that good stuff to mean that I could just get in the zone and move my legs. And that's kind of why it's like, does a shoe either help or hinder you? Now, what I mean by that is, too many people when they start running will just get whatever type of shoe, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But my point of view is that by investing in a shoe that will really allow you to do a lot with it, will reward you tremendously in the long run. So I kind of want to do a video on this, but I'll kind of give you a bit of a snippet of what I'm trying to say. If you think of Pokemon, when you get your 3 starters, you kind of think of like a Bulbasaur, right? That's pretty like basic and cheap and just kind of does the job without being too fantastic at anything. That's kind of like a stock standard running shoe, you know, just standard foam, nothing too exciting, like a dad shoe almost, but it gets the job done. I want to say these shoes are like a Squirtle. It's got a bit more power to it. It's got a bit more versatility. It can protect you for those slower runs, but can also surprisingly get to those faster speeds and do so quite well because of how they re-engineered the foam to make it a bit firmer and a bit more propulsive in that component. And then I guess going more on that Squirtle point versus a Charmander is these shoes have incredible longevity and protective capabilities, like defensively like a Squirtle, right? So what I mean by that is if you look at the bottom, the traction here now, you'll see that it's still all there. Nothing's like balled out. I mean, look, you notice on the probably the outside and the bottom of this one, it's probably worn the most. But that's probably just because of how I turn on my route, because I go like left a lot, and that's probably just meant that the turning I put in this shoe has kind of meant that that's going to wear more. But I mean, evenly, like, you've still got really a great deal of traction. It's only kind of towards that toe bit there and there where you've got some issues. And even today, when we look at this foam chipping off here and this part of the sole coming off, that was literally because I tripped over a piece of, or a component of ground that kind of caused the foam to flake it, because it kind of went into my big toe here. And then similarly, I imagine it would have caused this to grab and pull up. So if it wasn't for kind of the situation of the uneven ground, this component of the shoe would look better and look more like this, I'd say. I mean, yes, I do need to clean these shoes, but that's kind of why these shoes are so great. They've really just held up and really, stood out to me. And the foam as well has really, protected me, held up, made me feel like I can really push myself. It's made me feel invincible, like the shoe has suggested. It kind of, more to that point about project you towards your goals or hinder, because you've got that better Pokemon or you've got that better running shoe, it just means every time I go for a run in these shoes, I'm always looking forward to it because these shoes are so good. So using these as part of my easy runs has helped me increase my speed for my easy run and increase my distance, while my legs feel fantastic after. It kind of gives you that conditioning and just kind of means that the shoe's ready to grow with you. And that's kind of really cool to kind of look back at these, 720 Ks plus another 20 Ks of walking, which is about 750 at the time of recording this. And by the time I even edit, it could be closer to 800, of just kind of looking back at what this shoe has done for me. It's given me my first half marathon. It's really helped in getting my easy runs to that next level, and kind of meaning that my fitness has, gone up a great deal to kind of help me for my race speeds. It's basically given me the comfort to know that my long runs are a piece of cake, in terms of that my body can still function after, my legs aren't in excruciating pain. And that's kind of why it's important. So I guess you could say that, look, this shoe, I do acknowledge at the time kind of when I bought it, if you got it at retail, it would have been about maybe $240 to $260. But because I have the Nike outlet quite nearby to me, and I am quite smart about when I go there and what I need, this shoe I was able to get for $100. So even though a shoe would be expensive, you got to consider the fact that all shoes inevitably will go on sale. And if you know a shoe is good, because shoes get refreshed like every year or so, then you can snipe a really good deal. And on that point, I actually got another pair of Invincible 3s for about, I think, $90 as well. So basically, as soon as these go, I've got another pair ready to rock and roll. I don't have to fumble and start paying the price for, I guess, the current version, which, because of how Nike has transitioned their shoes, is the Vomero 18, which is a great shoe. And eventually, by the time I wear through my next pair of Invincible Run 3s, I'll probably be able to get them at outlet for a really good price. I've stockpiled shoes ready for me going to the next level. So that's kind of like why I guess you could argue that it is expensive. But if you kind of follow my other video about how I tell you to save money on running shoes, then you can kind of get around that fact and still get a fantastic shoe. You can get your Squirtle type of shoe that will just really grow with you and evolve into like a Blastoise or something. So that's kind of like why a shoe like this is really, I guess, good, and why I wanted to pay homage to it and kind of acknowledge how far it's gotten me. It's gotten me to run corporate cups in about 16 minutes, 1, 2, and almost 3 times this year. So being a 4.51 distance. And then also has helped me tremendously in my journey to run the City to Bay in under 40 minutes, which I will do a separate video on. And yeah, I think I probably couldn't have achieved it without these shoes. So I'm really grateful for the fact that I could secure these and use these as my daily training partner. And that's kind of like what I want to impress upon you. So while people might laugh or think it's silly to spend X amount on running shoes, having a good daily trainer is probably the most important thing. You don't need a carbon plated race shoe. It's nice to have, but if you've got a really good daily trainer like this, a Squirtle if you would, then you can effectively have so much benefit and gain along your running journey and have that confidence to know that you're protected. I guess, and because you can't get these anymore, another alternative would be, say, an Asics Super Blast 2. They've got incredible mileage in terms of longevity. They are a bit more pricey, however. So I guess if you're going to consider this, say I paid $100 for these and I feel realistically I can probably get to about 800K, you get an incredible price per K of like, is it like 8 cents or something? Or I don't even know. Like, I do the math on the screen, but like, it's a crazy value proposition when you think of it like that in terms of a clothing equivalency to cost per wear. I guess like cost per K, then it's kind of like a no-brainer. Where people might invest money in like a night out or an Uber Eats order or delivery or whatever, if you're kind of taking some of that money or a couple of those efforts and just learning to cook yourself and putting them into a shoe like this, then you'll be rewarded in ways that you thought like not possible. And that's kind of why it helped me to conquer mountains, conquer life, and get to my fittest form yet at the age of 29. If you kind of want to leverage your, fitness and lifestyle the best way possible to find a tool that will allow you to do that, my vehicle that I talk about is cycling, using that as part of your daily reality. To kind of facilitate that or have that, you can click the link in the description below for my ebook called Lifestyle, which is $10. And by simply getting that, you'll get thousands upon tens of thousands and hundreds of dollars worth of value in so many aspects of clothing, nutrition, the bike, kind of how to fuel, which will save you $50 a bike ride. Like, there's so much that you'll just have a value add, and it will kind of tell you how to make it part of your daily reality, taking you through step by step every part of the process and journey for training, eating, sleeping, riding, stretching, to have that next level fitness. Because the thing is, with running, while it is fantastic, I'm at a point where I can run and it's pretty safe for me to do so and train my speed. I don't have to run to lose weight. I run to train fitness to get to that elite level. That's what I'm at with my life. But to get me to that point and the discipline behind that, I would attribute to cycling, and it's still something I do to this day. I don't do it as much because there is a big time factor of long rides on weekends, so I do long runs instead. But personally, if I kind of had more time or more freedom, I would really like to ride more. It's just that because of my current life, it's not quite as much of a reality. But basically, that's what I've got for you if you kind of want to take yourself to the next level, to conquer mountains and life in a literal and physical sense of actually riding up mountains. And I explain all that for you. So, conquer mountains, conquer life. Thanks. Oh, and I just want to cut in an extra bonus tip about these shoes. When shoes like these get to a certain point where you can't run in them because they're kind of not to their full capacity, there's a number of things you can do besides chucking them in the bin. One would be to donate to some type of charity that uses running shoes and gives to, people in countries in need, like say third world countries, for example. Another component is you can just use this as a house shoe, like to walk around the house, run errands, do gardening. That's fantastic. If you really wanted to, you could cut a hole here and use it as like a house slipper. It won't be really the same benefit as a kind of like a Hoka or a 3, but it will kind of like mimic the idea of having like a slip-on shoe that kind of allows your feet to breathe. So use it as kind of like a recovery shoe around the house. So I think there's even more ways to think about how else you can leverage this when it's past its effective life. But that's something as well. And then I guess there's another point. Having something that's reliable for your training is, I've used this in days where it's rained and the ground's quite wet. This has held incredible traction and given me that guarantee that I can still push myself and not really result in anything bad or have anything bad happen to me, because these shoes have my back. And that's kind of why I'm so impressed with the traction of these. Even though it's made the shoe a bit heavier comparatively if they scaled it back, I'm grateful for what it achieves in terms of giving you that peace of mind. So it's just kind of a bonus point I wanted to mention. So conquer mountains, conquer life.